don't stand for something, you're gonna fall for anything. You gotta stand on something out here dealing with your own business. You gotta treat this business as if you're running a billion-dollar corporation. It may not be a billion-dollar corporation to everybody else, but it needs to be a billion-dollar corporation to you and your family. So when you put one thing I do suggest, first and foremost, put in payment policies and stick to your payment policies. Don't be afraid to end the service or make people pay up front or pay by way of credit card. However they do it, whether it's on file or whether they pay you or transfer it to your Zelle or Cash App before you start the work, or give you cash before you start the work. Just treat your business like it's a billion-dollar corporation. I understand working out here as people that provide maintenance to grass, and whether it be weed control or lawn service, lawn maintenance. People, for the most part, don't look at that particular field as being something, you know, like a life-threatening field or life-saving field. So people don't really look at that as being important. They almost look at it as if, well, anybody can do it, right? So the respect level may not be where it should be, but you have to make it. You have to make people respect you. And that's just mainly the gist of running a business. You know, the time that I was in landscaping, lawn maintenance, I started off where, you know, you just kind of take anything because you're trying to get your feet wet, right? So you kind of lay down for anything. And then over time, I started getting more and more customers. I started getting more confident in my work. So eventually I put pay policies in effect. And, you know, you still have those few customers that's gonna respect the policy. Majority of them will respect it. So dealing with the headaches that I dealt with during the time I was cutting grass, I decided that I didn't want to deal with that now. In this field of weed control, fertilization, and mosquito control, ornamental turf, pest control, I didn't want to deal with that. This field right here, it requires a lot more education. It requires continued education courses in order to keep your license, to keep your certification. So it's automatically gonna bring a different type of client. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna open up doors monetary wise, and it's gonna give you, like I said, a different type of client, as opposed to just anybody calling you to cut their grass, right? So I decided that I wasn't going to allow any leeway in this field as far as payments are concerned. When I pull up to a customer's house and I service the property, I send the text with the payment policy after I finish the job. And the payment policy is mainly like this. You know, just to paraphrase, the payment policy is that all payments are to be in by 6 p.m. the day of service. If the customer is at work, right? Because if the client's at work, then I understand you may not be able to get to me, get payment to me immediately. So I understand that. But if you're at home or you're working from home, when the work is done, payment is due immediately. And all the customers, I send this text after every job is complete. I send this. For the most part, hey, person at work, it'll be in by 6. Person at home, it'll be in by as soon as I get done. When I pull off, because I send the invoice immediately. I sit in my truck, open up my iPad, I put all the information down, send it immediately. But you do have a few that kind of test the waters. And I had one that tested the waters. Two times. First time he paid. Second time he paid the following morning. Okay, and that's one strike. The third time after I did his job, because he works from home. So the third time he waited till after 6. The fourth time, there wasn't gonna be a fourth time. So the fourth time, I just told him, hey, go ahead and put a card on file. And when you have it on file, let me know. I'll come out and service the property. So he said, I'm gonna do that. It wasn't done, but he texted me back and was like, you weren't able to make it by? And I was like, yeah, I can make it by, but I need to have that card on file first before I do anything. So he let me know. He said, well, I'll have some cash for you. So I hit him up. I said, I'm on my way. Are you home? He said, yes. I get there, get to the door, pull out my iPad, and right in front of him, I'm getting ready to provide the invoice right then and there. Then all of a sudden, questions come up about what's being done, which has already been explained. But, you know, it's almost like, as a businessman, you cannot have a standard. And once you enforce your standard or enforce your morale pertaining to your company, and that becomes like an insult to someone who may seem like their career is more important than what you're offering. But that's why I say if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So anyway, I gave him the rundown. You know what I'm saying? Because I study this. I'm always studying the grass types. I'm already studying the weeds. I'm always studying and learning about the chemicals and the, learning how to, you can't just mix the chemicals a certain type of way. They have to be according to the label and stuff like that. So you gotta know what the proper calculations are and stuff like that. So I can't remember what the word is right now. It'll come to me later. But I realized after that conversation, somehow in there it was like, well, how often do you do it? And I told him, I've been told him, service is every 30 days. After 30 days, the chemical starts to break down. So my advice would be to do the service every 30 days. But it's no contract, no obligation, so it's completely up to the client. But I would advise no later than 5 weeks. You know what I'm saying? But then all of a sudden, well, that's too much. And I was cool. I just told him, I said, well, this is what you do, try to make sure it's done every 6 weeks and stuff like that. And then call me back at the end of the summer, when things start to get a little cool, call me back. At least call me in December so I can start to put that pre-emergent down and stop the weeds from, coming up next year. So he was like, no, I think I'm gonna have you do it every 6 weeks. Cause I let him know, it wasn't no hard feelings, man. I got, in a field like this, I'm already at almost 100 clients. So this field right here, for one person, has the potential to get up to 400 or 500 clients. And if I'm rotating these clients every 30 days, I need to have everything, properly logged. I make sure I take my taxes out every day, my tithes and stuff like that every day. You know what I'm saying? So I try to get stuff done by 6 p.m. so the next day I don't have to look back over this stuff, right, to see what's going on. Everything's already closed out. So he understood that, especially when I showed him the list of my clients, and the invoices. He saw, I didn't go in detail. I just showed him, look at all these, man. And he understood, you know what I'm saying? So it was cool. But it just made me think to myself, why do I got to go through all that? You know, why can't it just be, you know, why can't it just be, let me get you the money in as soon as you finish the job, or by 6 p.m. if I'm not at home. You know, so I had to enforce it. I don't feel bad about enforcing it, because the Lord has sent more people. It don't matter. The Lord take care of me anyway. So, but I gotta stand for something, and I advise anybody that's starting a business, running the business, don't be afraid to stand by your policy. Put some type of pay policy in place and be firm about it. That way you don't, you don't be running around here, you know, acting ghetto, chasing people for 45 and 50 bucks. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how much it is, it's the principle. It's the policy that you have in place, and it needs to be abided by everybody. All right, no matter the amount.